Hello, everyone. Andy here from Biohazard Declassified. Thank you for tuning in to the Biohazard Declassified podcast. We've got a very, very special guest. It's Mr. Matt RPD. How you doing, Matt?
I'm very well, Andy. How are you?
All the better for having you on today.
Oh, you're looking very cute with your hat there, same as me.
I
You've
know.
got the front, I've got the back.
We're quite literally living the dream. How
Absolutely.
are things in the world of the RPD universe?
Fantastic. As I said prior to starting, firstly in the house, a lot of renovations, but you don't want to know about that. When it comes to streams and Twitch, everything's going amazing. 2022, new year, and that means a lot more streams, a lot more content, a lot more speed runs, a lot more marathons, a lot more of everything. It's going to be a great time, and also we got to talk about the RV marathon as well, haven't we? That's what we
Indeed,
need
of
to talk
course.
about as well.
Of course. So, for the people that are tuning into this for the first time and are not familiar with your content, who is Matt RPD?
So I'm a Twitch streamer, Twitch partner. I've been streaming for over 2 years now. I play a lot of Resident Evil games. It's fair to say. I do a lot of speed running, and we'll touch on speed running further on throughout this discussion today. But I've been doing speed runs for like a year and a half now, of all different Resident Evil games, ranging from the classics RV1, 2, and 3, all the way to the remakes, even to 7 and Village. So we basically do, all those, but we put them into marathon formats as well. So I might do one stream where we'll get eight or 9 Resident Evil games on a good day. So we do a lot of that. We have a lot of fun as well. It's not just sitting there speed running. We do have a lot of interaction with the channel, a bit like yourself with your community here, Andy, on Facebook. And yeah, we just have a laugh. We get up to crazy things like dancing, singing, taking these weird sours behind me and sweets and the whole shebang.
How long you been doing the Matt RPD gig for now?
I started streaming on Twitch in September 2019, but it was on and off just to test the waters. But I'd say I started consistently probably like January 2020, and put a schedule together, and I stuck to it as best as I could, and consistent, and that's basically I was just that's when we started on Twitch, and look where we are now.
Yeah, and it's crazy, and
Yeah.
it's worth saying that even though you was part time, you always maintained a consistent schedule, and that's always been my kind of downfall, is that just trying to get that consistent schedule is like it can be quite tough. So even when you were part time, I know you're full time now.
Yeah.
That you should be commended on that for keeping that level of consistency.
Absolutely. I'm extremely proud about that because you're working Monday to Friday. The 9 till 5 kind of shifts, or the 8 till 4. Then straight after that, sometimes you might not have the energy, but it's about still getting, staying true to yourself, isn't it? And there's a lot of people out there that actually relies on the streams, believe it or not, and it's not. I don't like to let anybody down. I'm always been like that. I want to do my best for people. If I'm saying I'm going to do something, I'll do my absolute best to be there on time, on schedule. And I think that's good because I've been working in my existing job. I know I've took a 12-month career break, but I've worked where I've worked for like 11 years. So it's just, I think you get that like work ethic built in, don't you? At a point, I'm like 33 now. I've been there, done that kind of thing. So it's knowing to be there on schedule, isn't it? Be on time. Don't be late, else you get shouted at. But no,
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Why streaming though? What brought you to? Because I mean, I've been streaming for example, I've been streaming since like 2011 on various platforms. I've only really started to have success in like the last couple of years, like yourself. But why did you start speedrunning, and why Resident Evil?
I can touch on why I started streaming first and foremost. I started streaming. I graduated with a law degree, did that at uni, and I had this idea that I wanted to become, a solicitor to progress through the legal system, and I started my postgrad, my masters, and I started to go to law school, and then it just wasn't clicking. I just was not enjoying it. And probably a lot of people would say, well, why would you enjoy that? It's, it's law. It's not really designed to be exciting and fun. But it wasn't clicking. I wasn't enjoying it. And it's just tiring. You finish your day job, you're going there till 9 o'clock at night. It was ruthless. I remember the first day going and I came back with a suitcase full of books. It was just like beyond relief. And then what hit the nail on the head, it was like a sign. And I remember going to the car one day in the afternoon to get something out of it, and I had a fine. And then I went back and carried on studying. And on the night, my windows had popped and everything. Like, it was just smashed to pieces. Like, I had a nice Range Rover at the time. It was a fancy car. And it was just like, you know what? I thought, I'm going to pursue a hobby. I'm going to pursue something that I've always enjoyed. And my brother, Vita Moores, he's been streaming for many years on Twitch. And I've always known about Twitch. And I've dabbled in the past before doing the law. Like, the odd occasional one stream. There was nothing there. It was a different channel. And I thought, you know what? I said to Abby, I'm gonna do my day job, but I'm gonna do something that I want a hobby, something that I can go to after work and just do. And I've always been a gamer from the OG Resident Evils all the way through. I love my gaming. I've always done it, but I wanted to do more. And I wanted to showcase. I wanted to try and make something for myself, and I wanted to do Twitch. And I got myself a little system and set up, and that's where it started. But in terms of the speedruns and the Resi, at first when I did start on Twitch, I was playing some Sega classics. I didn't really, I've always loved Resident Evil, but I didn't start streaming it like on a daily basis. I started mingling, just, doing odd occasional, what should I do? What is my content? What is my genre? What am I going to be on Twitch? So sometimes it might be Sega Mega Drive games. And then it was only till Tom Payno, you know Tom Payno, don't you? You've met him. He's been streaming on Twitch for many years as well. But he was doing the speedruns on Resident Evil 2 Remake. I was like, what's going on here? And lo and behold, I got involved, and I never looked back.
Yeah, no, it certainly has been the journey. And I suppose for you, you've made the big leap of doing it full time. What was that decision like?
It was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences I've gone through for a very, very long time, since probably teenage years or whatever. It's always been, my work has changed over the years, as local authority here in the UK, governmental changes, restructures all the time, new teams merging. It got to a point where I've just had enough. I had enough of interviewing for my own job all the time, or interviewing for other jobs and being let down. I felt like held back, where I felt like I should have progressed and I didn't. And I felt like I was just wasted. But not only that, it got to a point where things on Twitch was heating up. It was getting serious. Like, the growth was continuing. From a monetary aspect, things was doing okay. It might not earn as much as what my job earns, but there's more to life than money. I'm 33 now. I was very materialistic when I was a bit younger, but now I'm thinking, you know what? If I can make ends meet, pay the mortgage, pay, essentials, have a bit of free money to have a holiday or something, why not do something that you're absolutely passionate about and enjoy on a daily basis, rather than going to work and doing the 9 till 5 grind, which there's nothing wrong with that. I've done it, been there, but I just feel, I just wanted to do something, be a dreamer, and just attempt to do something, which it may not pay off in 12 months' time. I've got a chance to go back. I've got a career break. I've not actually left. But who knows? In December, I've got a big decision to make this year, in effect. But what made me do it was obviously what I've just said about not enjoying it. And obviously I spoke to Abby as well. We had a good chat about it. I spoke to the community at length. And I just thought, you know what? A career break is the best move, because I didn't want to just hand my notice in, because that's just, to me, is a lot of risk. This is the best thing. I've got savings in the bank that could take the pressure away. And yeah, I just went for it. I jumped for the first time I could ever do.
It's always the big jump, because you will get to a point, if you're fortunate enough to get to that point, where it's almost like right, you've got a very, like myself, I've got a very, very respectable job, but at the same time, I've got a really, really well built community that is relatively profitable, and they're almost. I'm at the point where I'm okay. It's not, but if I put any more effort in, I'm going to start almost stifling. They're going to stifle each other, and so yeah, huge. I mean, it's a huge risk, but for taking a sabbatical at work, why not? Why not? Go for a year. If it doesn't work out, you've got a plan B. I think. I don't think there's anything wrong, or
Absolutely.
you couldn't have done it. You couldn't have done it any better, really.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's exciting. And you are right. Like, the good thing is that you can focus all your energy into content, and obviously starting earlier as well, getting them a minimum 7 hours per day in. Obviously, I don't stream every day, but some advice for anybody out there that's aspiring to be a streamer is that people forget it's not just streaming. Before I even streamed, I used to think people used to complain saying, "Oh, I've got no energy. Streaming's easy." It's not, because you do your 7 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours. It's the other half of the work that nobody sees. It's behind the stage, so to speak. It's the socials, the liaising with people like yourself, Andy, and everyone else, and trying to build schedules and contacts and everything else. It's just it does so much work, into. But if you enjoy it and you're passionate about it, then it doesn't become work. It becomes just that hobby, doesn't it?
And this is what I tell everybody that come into my streams. Like, you could have the best setup in the world. You could have you could be the best person at Resident Evil. You could have just an amazing OBS layout, but sometimes it just is the right place at the right time, and it's crushing for people. But at the end of the day, like for me, I spent years streaming on YouTube, Twitch. Literally probably 5 or 6 years streaming to like 2 people or 3 people, and then all of a sudden I made the change to Facebook gaming, and it ended up working out for me. But it's really it's luck. I would 100% put it down to luck. Right place, right time.
Absolutely. I don't. Yeah. Obviously, there's a percentage of that.
Yes,
I think if you're consistent, you're organised.
Yeah, you'll increase your odds.
You're not just sitting there streaming, but you're liaising with others as well, your peers. You get yourself about. I do think you can get there as well. It might be a bit slower, but you are right in what you say as well. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's the way of life, isn't it? It's like in anywhere, streaming, real life, wherever you are. It's who you know. If you're in with these big people, you're going to go places. So, but you can still get there with hard work and determination if that's what you want. And obviously that's what it comes down to with streaming, isn't it? Is that everybody's got their own goals and ambitions. Yeah. Not everybody wants to make it full time. Some people are happy just to do it as a little hobby, and that's great.
That's always been the struggle with me. I almost feel like if I did do it full time, which I could, but at the same time, one, it'd be like as you said, the biggest risk is if Facebook got shut down. Like for example, we got demonetized like a month ago or whatever. I was fortunate enough that I'm in full time work, but if I relied on that, like that would be like massive alarm bell. So it wasn't much of a problem. It's almost like it's not in your hands. it's in somebody else's hands.
But if you really knuckle down, what is like, for me, I've gone through restructures, everything. I could have lost one of those jobs. I might have just think, you know what, Matt, that's it. We don't want you anymore. So it can happen. Twitch could go bust. Well, not bust. I mean, obviously it's Amazon owned, but what's stopping them just thinking, oh, what, Jeff thinking, just get rid of Twitch. If it starts to not make any sense from a monetary aspect, YouTube's coming through the ranks. Got to watch out for YouTube before you know it. They're going to be leading.
YouTube gaming.
Well,
they've got the investment, so and Facebook gaming have come out and I think Zuckerberg actually come out and said he's going to be investing $100 billion into Facebook gaming. So it's a good time to be a streamer. It's the easiest time to kind of get into streaming, but at the same time, very, very saturated.
I was just about to touch on that. Yeah, absolutely. Like for anybody wants to get involved now, do it because you want to do it and you want to play games. Don't just do it because you think, oh, straight away, I'm going to grow and become this phenomena. Because let me tell you, it might not happen. And don't think it's going to happen overnight as well. It's going to take it'll take a lot of time and effort. And sometimes you might feel I'm not doing enough. You'll have, what's that word? What you get a lot of times. I've had it. Imposter syndrome. I don't know if you ever felt like that,
Yeah.
but I've had it. I think a lot of streamers have it. Some days I've got off and I've been upset because I thought, well, you could have a month where you're excelling. You're thinking, oh, look at this growth. No, I don't actually look at it as much now. That's something that I've learned over the last few months is that, you could see these numbers going through the roof, averaging 200 people. And then all of a sudden you might have a day or two where you're like, wow, 130, 40. That's still a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just, when I first started, I said to my brother, I said, I'll take 10 people. Like, if I could get to 10 people to talk to me on a daily, I'll be happy with that. Expectations change. You get 10, you get a bit greedy. Oh, 20. Okay, what's going on here? Before you know it, you get partnered and you can't help it. It's just human nature. It's just like you always want a bit more, I feel. That's how I feel with Twitch or streaming.
I think just with if we kind of narrow it down pertaining to just RE content, the big issue that there is in the RE circle is it's almost, I feel like for us anyway, and I appreciate this is anecdotal, that we tend to be very successful when Resident Evil's trending. For example, when a new game's coming out, when a new movie's coming out, like that's where we get our really big gains. But the rest of the time where it's kind of plateauing, it makes you feel worried. You think, oh fuck, like, I almost feel like I've done all this work for nothing in a way. But you just got to. It's like any competition. You just have to knuckle down, produce the best content you can, and it should really grow past that, in my opinion.
But in my opinion, like with yourself, you're an entertaining guy. You're interactive with your audience when you're doing your casual streams outside of the news and all of that. So keep doing what you're doing. I mean, I don't really know much about the Facebook side of streaming, but
it's all to me, it's all trends. Like if Resident Evil, like the big crux of how we grew was actually Resident Evil 3 remake. Like sharing all the leaks about it and like the hype and everything like that, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just absolutely took off, and we've just been slowly and steadily building up from there. But circling back to doing Twitch full time, do you feel now that you look at streaming differently than you did when you was just doing it as kind of a side hobby?
It's a bit hard to say right now because it's still early. I only went full time in December. I still feel like I can do a bit more in terms of the days that I'm not streaming. Because that's the problem, you see. Only because I'm not streaming on the days that I'm not on doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. I'm still having to do things behind the scenes to get ready for the next stream. Which I feel like my schedule's consistent. I am on time, and I've changed it till 10 or 11 in the morning now. Before it used to be 4 o'clock or 4:30 to start. But I feel like I just want to kind of take advantage of certain events throughout the year, like the Easters, the Christmases, build events around that, because I think that's what I need to do, which I don't see everyone else doing. And obviously, with my channel as well, we do a lot of kind of the giveaway stuff. You'll see me in a bunny outfit hopping about. Hello.
Yeah.
At this moment, I can't really say what I've noticed. Obviously, some people might think I'm starting to look at the analytics from a monetary aspect more, but I haven't, because I'm not going to change who I am. Like, I'm going to be what people see me as. I'm pretty transparent. And people could probably work out kind of the money that I'd be earning a month based off looking at the subs and the bits for it. So, like, I don't have to tell people what kind of each month is completely different. One month could be, it's going to vary. But I'm not looking at that. Luckily for me, I'm fortunate enough to have some savings in the bank that is going to see me through if worst comes to worst. And, if Twitch dies tomorrow, I can just call up my job and say I need to come back, and then I can come back within like 2 weeks or a month's notice. But yeah, to answer that question, ask me in a couple of months so I've come back on.
we'll do a return one, and you're all gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I've just been."
I'll be in the corner, cold and all shriveled up. Like, oh, I've got no central heating. The gas is turned off. They come out to turn. You'll see Sasha crying for treats because there's no treats to give her.
well, that's it. And I've always been a big believer. Like, I don't believe in. And again, you might have a completely different opinion on it, but I've never been big believers in having stream targets on the stream. You know, maybe have like a sub count or something like that. But to have like, I've never had like PS3 goal, PS5 goal. You know, I just think I could provide that myself.
Yeah, and that's why I haven't done that. I mean, I have a sub goal as a treat, as in like there's one we got at the moment, like 2,000 subs, something crazy.
But you do giveaways though.
Yeah,
so
we've done. Yeah,
you give back.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like we've been known as a community to give stuff away. I mean, I haven't given away anything in January because I'm just holding back a bit just to kind of see how things go with the full-time stuff. And obviously next month there'll be a few giveaways. But for example, if we hit this goal that we've set, there's be a swimming pool. Matt's in the swimming pool on the stream. Fucking the Resident Evil ducks behind me. You can see up there. Fucking, you know, it's going to be a fucking shenanigan. But that's going to be investment to get that. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm just going to, you know, you've got to buy the pool and all. I know you can get one relatively cheap, but still. But in terms of what you're saying about PS5, I guess everyone's different, I suppose. I'm not going to critique on it, but I wouldn't do it personally because at this moment I can go and buy one if I needed one. Like it. And not only that, we've got a wish list thing anyway, which we've got like a phone, which I touched on earlier. So people can kindly, if they want to buy you a gift, they can suggest it or just see what's on there. And at least it's not everybody's wants to give you money, or give you subs. Some people would like to get you a gift, so that option's there as well. So it's just another nice feature, I suppose.
And I think this is what does get lost because I'm imagining Twitch is probably going to be the same, but with Facebook gaming, it's always been, if people, I've always been, streaming's free at the point of delivery, 100%. You know, if you want to donate, it's never option. I know you see the absolute horror clips on YouTube of people, you know, e-begging and stuff like that, but you know, as long as if you're an ad-supported channel, even if someone never donates ever, just for the fact that they are tuning in, streamers do get a return. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll touch on it. I'll be transparent about it as well. So obviously, if a non-subscriber will usually get the ads. If they are a subscriber to the channel, they don't get any ads at all. What I started doing and learning from is that if I end, like when we do a marathon on a Saturday, for example, and there's like 7 Resident Evil games, after each game, I'll probably just say, I'm going to pop to the loo. Yeah, I've got nothing wrong with you guys, by the way. Hello, everyone in chat. I can see all you guys. Thank you for being here. So what I'll do is I'll run to the loo, but I'll press my stream deck and play an ad. And last month, I did that quite often. We did a lot of marathons last month. And I earned like $70 last month, you know, for doing the marathons, just by pressing that ad revenue button. I think $70 is all right for playing an ad, going having a piss. Like, I don't know what it is for Facebook in terms of ad revenue, but like, obviously, it all comes down to, you know, the more people in your channel, obviously, the more ad revenue you get. It's really simple. And obviously, I wouldn't be playing ads if I was just starting off on Twitch with a couple of people because it's just not going to be beneficial to anyone. It's just going to annoy people. But if I'm not at my desk, I don't think it's going to harm anybody that is a non-subscriber by looking at advertisement for a minute or two whilst I'm going to have a piss.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd rather take money off corporations than people's pockets. So you know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always envisaged that, like, if we're nowhere near this, but if we ever got to a point where 1,000 people average, the pressure for full time then would be gone. Because for me, the ad revenue alone would be pretty significant, I'd imagine, especially if you play a few ads throughout the day as well, banging 7-hour streams in 8 hours and you know, playing a couple of ads throughout that. Because, you know, numbers speak, especially when you see these big streamers. They ain't really that bothered about the subs or the bits because the reality is they don't have to rely on the wonderful generosity of their communities. And I'd love to take that away from my community in terms of, you don't have to drop as many subs or bits because, we're earning money off the corporations, as you say. But the reality is we're not there yet. We probably won't be there for quite some time, but, dare to dream.
Yeah, well, and that's a very accurate statement because I said the same thing. I said the same thing a couple of months ago. I said, I never thought I'd be in the position I am, and I'm very grateful. And I'll never take it 100%. Never take it for granted again. So as much as you say that now, what just if you're to be transparent as possible on a Resident Evil stream, what is your average view count roughly? I know it can differ.
Oh, it's going to differ. On a good day, we're averaging 200 plus. At the end of obviously that's a couple of hours in, we're 200 plus usually nowadays in that, which is phenomenal. I've already set. I'll tell you about Twitch goals that I've set this year anyway. But so let's just say 200 plus. Obviously my streams go up to 300 at one point. So it all depends on the day. Usually the weekends are more popular than a weekday.
Prime time.
And to be honest as well, like I probably don't say this enough, but my streams can be affected based on who's on as well. Like, Bork Soup, everyone knows. Like, I've noticed that my streams will dip based on when Bork comes on and plays the same game. That's going to happen. Bork has been around for a long time. And so I'll try and change it up a bit if I can as well. If I can see what he's doing. It's hard to predict. Obviously, he can tune in whenever he streams different times. But I will try and change things up as well, just to try and keep my exposure there as well. Because the problem is with Twitch, you go into Resident Evil 2, for example, there's a directory. 9 times out of 10, there's a good chance I might be first on that directory for when I'm streaming. Say if I've got 250 plus in the channel, I might be top of that. What the most people do when they come onto Twitch and they check a directory, you're going to click on the first one, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's usually what it is. So obviously, if I'm 2 or 3 behind that, say Bork and a couple of the big ones are on that same time on that same game, my exposure's lesser. I'm just thinking from a business perspective here. Obviously, as much as I want to give out to my community, I have to still continue to think about the growth and the direction. So if I change the game up and try and take Resi 1 and be at the top of that directory, I will, but I can't predict it when I'm streaming because if I'm live, I can't start checking if Bork's on or not on.
Yeah.
And by the way, Bork's a wonderful guy. I'm not, it's
of course.
This
is an exercise.
I've been doing it 2 years. He's been doing it 10 since whatever. But
and again, it comes down to diversifying your content. And one thing that I've absolutely loved you doing is that you're now starting to do interviews whilst you're doing it, because speedrunning isn't enough for Matt RPD. You've started to venture into stuff like interviews, which again is just this you've escaped. You're out of the realms of speedrunning, as I said earlier. You're into RE content creation, and I think you're starting to shine.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the inspiration come from yourselves. And obviously, with you guys being involved in the Resident Evil Marathon and helping us get these guests and obviously having a bit of a rapport with the guests that come on, the voice actors, it built me a bit of confidence to think, what's not stopping me asking if they want to come on my channel? And, and because the channel's been growing, I'll say, look, I'll give him a bit of a brief, like what we talked about earlier. He's like, I'm a streamer, I'm partnered now. I average this amount of people in the streams. Would you be interested in coming on? And it's like anything, isn't it? There's got to be something in for them as well as you. Like, if you can give them, say, that bit of exposure for them, then they may be inclined to come on. Not everyone looks at that. They might not be looking at it. They might just think, for the goodness of their heart, they'll come on. And 9 times out of 10, they'll probably do that as well. But yeah, and I thought, why not do something different? Obviously, the inspiration from the Resident Evil speedrun marathon that we've done together. Why can't, if they come on my stream for an hour, just do a quick run, talk to them whilst explaining some of the things that's happening, whilst the community can talk to them as well and ask the questions. So it's just like a very informal, it's not formal. I'll get very nervous off formal. I don't know what it is, but for me, I'd rather just have that informal, natural chat like we are right now. And, I prefer that over anything. And yeah, it's great. I'm loving it.
I don't know if you have it, but I get like when I bring a guest on, it doesn't matter who it is. When I bring a guest on, I get this anxiety that I don't get. Like I'm really outgoing person, like in my job and just it like socially. But just before I go live, I just get that. It's almost like it's debilitating.
It's like going in for an interview. Obviously, 9 times out of 10, when it's a normal stream, I don't get that. I'm excited but when it's like Sunday, with Pablo that's coming on, I'll be nervous. I'll know for a fact because it's speaking to somebody new. You're hoping that it's going to click and gel and have that natural conversation. Because if it doesn't, it's going to become awkward.
That's a long hour and a half.
But it won't be that long. Not be busy one, mate. I'll be done in 39 minutes. But yeah, I'll get nervous. I mean, I was a bit nervous coming on today just because, sometimes you don't know what to expect. Obviously, when you're doing your normal streams, you know what to kind of expect. It's just nice. But when you're kind of discussing with someone over a video call or voice call, it's, sometimes you just get a bit of how's it going to go mindset.
It's almost like you're not in control and you're like, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah, there's a big, the first Resident Evil marathon, or was it the second one, when we had like shitload of people and you're hoping this event's going to go well and the pressure's on. Because if it goes wrong, it's going to fall on, you know what I mean? It's going to fall on the people that are putting it together. And you're like, fucking hell, like, you got to step up here. It's got to work. Please work. Don't let the tech fail. Please. You're constantly going to the bathroom. That's what I noticed. That's when I know I'm nervous. I'm going to the bathroom for a little wheeze. Just like a little wee. Oh, that'll do. So it happens. I'm sure it happens to you, like you just mentioned. I'm sure it happens to a lot of people in chat who stream as well. But yeah, I think it's just natural, really, isn't it? It's just, But at least you're very good at it. You're very good at talking. You're very good at this. So at least
the only reason why is because I look at how everybody else do it, and no one's interested in hearing. And I said this to my previous guests, the Revisited guys. No one's interested in my story. They're specifically today in this podcast. This is the MattRPD podcast. You have the floor, so I might pose a question, but ultimately, we're here to hear from you. If people want to hear from me, they'll just watch my streams. So I give people the length and the breadth to talk, and
I just remember when we did the multi-stream together a couple of months back, the game show, the Game Awards, and like you led on that, which is great. And I'll talk about that actually because God, I was out of place. Like I enjoyed being part of it, but I don't know if it's because it was tiredness. It was a long, see, it was 12 o'clock start, wasn't it? Something stupid.
Yeah.
But when you got all these big, look, there's a lot of quite big people there as well. It's like Emily was there, quite a big group.
And but like all the heavy hitters in the well, like you were saying earlier with Imposter Syndrome. Well, we all, like when I went to Vegas and met them, I felt like massively because we're not really established. Like we've been around for 2 years, but these people have been creating content for many years. They have their own, but I was like, oh my god, all the egos are going to clash. But do you know what? Cool as shit.
And when you went for like the introductions, I was like, fuck it out, man. I feel like being at work. You do them team meetings. You're like, and I struggle to sell myself in that kind of setting, and it's been told within interviews that I've had at my jobs in the past. You sell yourself short because you don't sell yourself. You just kind of tell the bare minimum about who you are, and that's what I do. And that's what I did that night. And I think, to be honest, it wasn't just that, but I think like the overall discussions, it was out of my depth because I've never been involved and never watched the Game Awards or anything like that. So some of these conversations was like, I don't really know what they're talking about, even though, I get the gist, but I felt like I didn't want to get involved because I don't know how I could. It was, I don't know, I'm not really explaining myself there, but...
No, I actually 100% get it. And if it made you feel any easier... where everyone was, it was the first time everybody connected their, you could connect the stream, your own pages to the stream. So not only was we going to be going live on our own platform, we're going, our stream that we're controlling is going live on pages that are far bigger than ours. And we'd never done anything like this before. It was absolutely terrifying. It really, really was. And also, I'm doing lead on a page that's not even mine. Like it was. Speak about anxiety. That was
Yeah,
that
the
was
pressure's on
horrible.
you. Yeah.
But I just thought, it's all the boys are there. What's the absolute worst that can happen? So
Absolutely.
I just winged it out.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. It was a good experience, and I said to Jesse, I think I said to Jesse or yourself that, like, thank you very much. I apologise if I didn't really get involved. I wanted to, I just couldn't see how at times. But
it was a lot of chefs. But again, like, I'd love to do more stuff like that. Like any game awards, like they're starting to do things now, and it was mainly during the pandemic where they couldn't have live crowds and everything like that, where they do these showcases, and it was really prominent with Resident Evil Village, and that was a lot of our success. Every single Resident Evil Village showcase there was, even the Japanese ones, like we covered, like we actually bought CVX Freecon just to translate. It was fucking bizarre, and it was actually it was nice because the writer of Village, Anthony Johnston, I think his name is, he actually wrote just randomly tagged us in one of his posts and said, like, oh, we're really happy. I was really happy with how Biohazard Declassified covered like the Village showcases. You even covered the Japanese ones, got it translated.
wow.
Like, but going back to MattRPD, this is the depth that you are now going to diversify like your content. Ultimately,
Absolutely, and that's being involved in these sort of things that we were just touching on with obviously the game awards and so forth. And that's the kind of route I want to go down. He's not just competitive speed runs; he's the whole shebang. And I'm fortunate enough to have those relationships with yourself, and even maybe like obviously Ro was there. At least I know they know who I am now, even if it's just like the bare minimum. They know MattRPD exists. It's good to have these connections, isn't it, as well? And that helps you go forward and push on and go to where you want to go to. But yeah, I'm just so pleased. I'm just so happy where we're at the moment, and fortunate, really. As you touched on earlier, is like sometimes you sit back and think, "Oh, I'm not happy with how today went," but you need to look at the bigger picture, don't you? As well, thinking, "Well, hang on, where was it 2 years ago?"
yeah.
I had nobody. I knew nobody apart from my brother on Twitch when I first started, and Tom. I started from absolutely nowhere, and that's what you touched on, what you said about it's not what you know, who you know. And I think it's important nowadays. If you intend to stream, get to know these communities and talk to them as well. Like that's what I probably failed to do early on. Is I just did my streams and I was kind of just left it at that. But I think now, like, if I'm not streaming, I'm usually on Twitch talking to others. And that's kind of, I would say, that's my advice for anybody is that get yourself out there. Don't be recluse. Just go out there, talk to anybody. Don't promote yourself in the channels, but just go out there, talk to the people. And if they ask you, if the streamer says, do you stream? Then just say yes, but don't go in there saying, "Oh, stream. Here's my Twitch link." Has that happened to you, by the way? Fucking hell.
But that's what I was going to say. Is there is a line because I feel like you need to organically do it. You want to be genuinely interested in people because people. It's like a classic sales thing. People will buy from people. So if you're a genuine person, people will see that you're genuine. If you're going out your way to basically clout chase, which we all see it, it's not uncommon. But if you try to organically or connect with a community and don't kind of, it's almost like you're trying to wangle yourself in some place.
You can see it. You can see it coming. But sometimes you'll have a random person come in and they'll just drop their Twitch link. I've had it, mate. I swear to fucking God. I've had it where someone come in and just drop their Twitch link and they were still streaming.
Yeah,
mate, fucking like I went fucking apeshit. I was like, what the fuck? And it's happened a few times. I don't know if that happens to you when you're live, like if they're doing the same stuff, but oh mate, sadly that's what comes.
It's more underhanded. It's more underhanded. It's what I get frustrated with is and I don't get it so much anymore, but I'm so happy you're playing this. I'm going live in a couple of hours. It's like,
Yeah.
No one cares. We're not, you know, when you're watching EastEnders, there isn't a promo for Coronation Street. So
you take it, you've got to treat it as an individual basis, I find, because sometimes there's new people on Twitch that simply don't understand the efficacy, even on Twitch or Facebook or YouTube. So sometimes you'll give them probably the benefit of the doubt. Just say, look,
always.
You or your mod, just I know you don't have mods, but you get it. One of the mods will say, look, please don't do that. It's not what you do. Go to the rules. You know, this is the efficacy of it. And all being well, they don't do it again, or they don't fucking come back. They'll just get their little win out and never come back again and just talk shit about you. That's another thing about drama as well. Oh God, you get it all, man. Like, just when people see you doing well, that's when the jealousy kicks in as well. People are jealous of people's content. Just be happy for people. What is wrong with? It's not just Twitch; it's real life shit, isn't it? It happens everywhere. But we need to get out this stigma where, like, you know, people are doing well. I put my hands up when I started. I was like, you know, I was a bit like that. Like, well, how come this person's doing well? What am I doing wrong to not be where this person is? I had that mindset, but I've changed that over, you know, trying to manifest and just be a bit more positive across the board, and it's worked. But yeah, like for anybody that's aspiring to be a streamer or are a streamer here in the chat, trying to just be good, be transparent, and just it's like anything. It's like writing an email for work, isn't it? Keep all your emails. Like if someone's dropping chat messages in your Discord, keep everything and don't say anything that could affect you in any way. Don't talk shit about somebody because it'll probably come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And on the point about you know streaming as a whole, you know, always expect that it's not going to work out. So I feel like if you set your expectation that it's not going to work out, you go in there, you keep your head down, you smash your content as much as you can. As you said, or you'll get organic growth out of it. But if you force it, or if you try and e-beg or something like that, you'll get a reputation, and it's not right.
There's so much to learn. The amount of research I did, even before I started streaming, I was Abby's family came over from Australia. I remember it clear as day. So it was like August, September. The family came over from Australia, and we did 2 like little holidays in the UK. I don't know where, one in Wales, somewhere else. But I remember like looking for books that I could buy to like how to start streaming, what to look out for. I remember going like Tesco's, even like the book places and all that. Just have a look. And I bought some little things, and you know, I was fascinated. I was on Twitch watching people, thinking, "Oh, okay, you know, I like what this person does. I'm not really keen on that content. I like this one." And I'm thinking, I can't wait to finish these holidays to start the streams. I swear to God. I remember it's clear. I remember telling Abby, like, you know, I'm going to push this. I can't wait. But as you say, there's organic growth and there's, you know, doing your best streaming daily or consistently. But you still have to do all the other things as well. You know, create the socials, get Twitter going, get the, you know, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I was going to say porn up then, but that's the wrong one for today. OnlyFans. No, I'm joking, guys. Calm down. But there's all that as well. But it's just talking to people is key. And, you know, talk to people, make friends, get people to know who you are, and you get to know them. And, you know, they'll start tuning into your streams as well. If you're spiteful and you're just thinking about yourself, you ain't going to get nowhere, and you don't deserve it as well. You know,
there isn't a textbook. Even though people have written about it, there isn't. It's like every human in the world is unique. So every stream in the world is going to be unique. There isn't a textbook method of here's a book. Here's a fucking. Yeah, I've got a book down here. Here you go. This Umbrella Conspiracy. But pretend this book says how to stream the absolute best you can and get millions of followers. This book doesn't exist. There isn't a tried and tested method that if you follow it 100% to the absolute letter, every single page, that you'll get success. It just comes down to who you are. It comes down to the situations you're in, and ultimately the network of people around you.
Yeah, there's absolutely. And like for me, what works is just, I think consistency is so. What's the word I'm looking for here? It's not. Yeah, like it's key, but not everyone thinks it's like no one looks at it and think, okay, well, I'll just stream. Consistency and schedule and letting people know when you're on and stick to it as well. Don't think, oh, I'll turn up at 4:00 today and turn up tomorrow at 12. People don't want that. If people see that all the time, or I won't stream today, I'll stream tomorrow, but don't let anybody know, you think, fuck this. I'm going to go elsewhere. They want to see somebody that's going to be reliable when they're in need. Sometimes they might have a bad day. Think, oh, fuck me, Matt's going to be on a bit. I'm going to be cheered up here. I'm not always a perfect streamer. Sometimes you can't stream happy all the time, can you? Sometimes, emotions get in the way. You could have had a shit day at job, at work. But, it's come to me. I've learned that people message me and say, look, Matt, your streams, and it's wonderful. You get wonderful messages to know that you are making an impact on somebody's life. And it's really nice to hear. Playing games, having fun, and people are enjoying it. And that to me is the biggest reward from streaming. Absolutely. Anything else is just, yeah. But sorry, I went off on one then.
No, 100% you're right. And to back that point up, a lot of our success, I imagine to some extent your success, I appreciate as it stands right now in January 2022, we are on the cusp of leaving the pandemic, but at the height of the pandemic, I was streaming a hell of a lot, and it was the escapism, not just for me, but for people in the chat of saying, do you know what? Life is shit at the moment. Life is very, very bad. But for the 4 hours or 5 hours that you're streaming a day, I don't have to think about the outside world. It's almost like I'm going to the bar with my friends and we're just sitting and we're shooting the shit about life. But I can't do that at the moment. So this is the next best alternative for us.
Absolutely. I mean, the pandemic could have got me partnered. The pandemic has probably helped me from a Twitch perspective so much more than I could have ever imagined. And, obviously I wouldn't have wanted the pandemic to happen at all. If I could go back and turn that time, I would. But in a way, it's benefited me in so many ways from what I'm doing right now. I got partnered during pandemic. I work from home. That probably made me think, why not pursue Twitch? Because I was
think about
I worked in an office environment. I was there Monday to Friday. Who knows? If the pandemic didn't happen, would I be here full-time streaming? I don't know. Maybe not, because, it's made me realize I've worked from home plus dealing with all the crap still. It's like, you know what? And for me personally, it's that focus, trying to do your job, but knowing you got your computers in front of you as well to watch streams. Things get in the way a bit as well. It didn't really, I still did my job. I did what I needed to do, but I wasn't as efficient as I once was. I think it's fair to say. And I think a lot of people will agree with me on that, I'd imagine. But so in a way, I've got to be careful with what I say. In a way, it was a blessing to me personally. But I know it's shit circumstance, but trying to say it as kindly as I can without upsetting anybody.
No, I think people will get your intention. I don't think it's veiled in any case. But I definitely think that most YouTube channels and Facebook chat pages, and they grew because everyone was at home for that period of time.
Absolutely, there's no other reason. I mean, if you look at the analytics on Twitch overall, shot for the roof since the pandemic, because, as you say, people was at home. A lot of people couldn't work due to the pandemic. What they're going to do? Put the TV on, put Twitch on, because the gaming industry is just growing and growing, isn't it? It's not going anywhere. And the fact is, let's not talk about all the metaverse and all that new Web3 or whatever it is, but this technology is advancing, and games going to advance with it. And who knows? There's going to be a lot more VR shit going forward. It'll be like these films. It'd be like, the films, Ready Player One. What a film.
Yeah, Gamer film as well, back in 2009.
That was a good film with Gerald Butler, wasn't it?
That was it.
Yeah, that's what I see the future based on them films. And I think it's going to be similar. I really do.
Yeah, so why do you have to go and work on a building site or work, break your back and do all of that when, I always have this argument with people because, I work in the construction industry. I work in an office, but in the construction industry. And they say, and you've probably had the question a million times, how can you sit in front of people, play a game, and have them watch you play it. That just seems like it's such a foreign concept,
Oh,
and people can't get their head around it.
it's hard to explain, isn't it? You like,
But put any other medium in front of that. Just say, "Oh, I watched a film critic review a film, or do a watch along with a film," or even if you sit down with your mate and watch a film together, like it's pretty much the same thing. But people just cannot compute that.
Yeah, you're right, but they're okay flicking on TikTok all morning, aren't they? To see all these daft clips of animals farting or crapping or all these random stuff. That's what people do. They're just you go on YouTube. I go on YouTube sometimes, and I end up watching something that like, why am I watching this?
Yeah,
Like I'll tell you what I was watching yesterday. I don't know how the hell, mate, you're gonna blow your mind. I ended up watching 10 minutes of a math professor interviewing a student of how to get into math school in Oxford. Like, what the hell is wrong with it? Why did it come to this? That's what I'm saying. So, how can they tell me how can I stream in front of people and people watch? Why do people watch? Well, it's like me just watching that random thing. Not, obviously people like the games and the content, but yeah, it just shows, man. You can watch anything. It's just
obviously ours is a little bit different because I almost feel like we're playing up to, like, especially if you're an old school Resident Evil fan, you're playing up to kind of nostalgia, and it's like, wow, do you remember when we used to play that as a kid? Like, to me, that's where it's always been. Oh, what's your favourite memory? Because it almost feels like life was simpler when we were playing Resident Evil like 20 years ago.
Yeah, and like the memories. It's quite funny actually. You touched on that because I always remember my mom being asleep in the bed, and me and my dad was on the bed, just sitting there playing Resident Evil at 1 a.m. The first one, like back in, I don't know if we had it on the day it came, like 96. It might have been like 97. I was still, a child kid. And like we couldn't get to bed. We couldn't put it off. It was just like, oh, this game's so good. I couldn't, because at the time the graphics was like, it was fucking phenomenal, wasn't they? Like, holy shit. It's just like, you're so immersed, but it's so terrifying as well. You're like, oh my God, there's a zombie here. But and
I actually remember just on Resident Evil stories. My mum, when Code Veronica first come out on PS2, like we're talking like 2001, I've been like 7 or something like that. My parents actually saying, "Oh, you're going to your grandparents this weekend," so they could sit. They even printed. Do you remember Cheap Planet?
yeah.
Like they printed off a walkthrough, like fucking you big. Because they wanted to play it the whole weekend, but they didn't want any distractions. So they sent me, my brother, and my sister to our grandparents, and it's like Resident Evil's been so like ingrained. And what I always say is like, relationships end. You might move house or move areas. You might change jobs, but what's always constant in your life is Resident Evil. Never changes.
It's cool. Like my friends outside of like the Twitch community that I've met and all these wonderful, I've made a lot of friends on Twitch, by the way, so I'm not excluding anyone, but like the friends that I've known since like, kids, and I've recently explained to them that I've gone full time on Twitch, and there's like, what's Twitch? A lot of them are like, what's going on here? Like, you're playing games and earning a living. How's that working? But to tell them to say like, that I've had the opportunity to speak to these voice actors. And it's like, I messaged my dad the other day. I haven't spoken to my dad for quite some time. Like, mom and dad split, a couple of years back or whatever. But I don't really speak to my dad much. But I messaged him out the blue. I said, I'm gonna get to speak to Wesker on and knowing that he knows who Wesker is, the original, because that's what we played. And he didn't play. I think
what?
Yeah, I think he played number 2, but I think that was it. Then he never really got. And he loves Resident Evil, but he doesn't. He's not a big gamer, I suppose. So getting to say, look, he's coming on the stream, like that was a nice feeling. But to tell my friends, just like, I'm having the opportunity to speak to these people, and it's like a dream come true in a way. Like, I don't want to sound like too much of a cliche, but it really is like, wow. Might not be everyone's dream, but when you're a kid, I would never imagine to be what I'm doing right now. But it's fun. Yeah, another one for you as well. The book, what's his name, right? Alex, is it?
Yes, Issue Tasty.
Well, Perel brought me that in the chat here, Sam.
Shout out, Sam.
Yeah, I've started to read that book. And the first couple of pages are talking about, well, we have spoilers, to talk about like the gaming industry and so forth. And it hit me on the head. When I was a kid, I've always wanted to be in the game industry. And in a way, I am. Funny enough, like, I'm creating content, playing games for a living. So really, even if I didn't design a game or make a game or program it, even though I wanted to do that as a kid or teenager growing up, I've made it in some way. Like, I'm getting to play computer games for a living. Like, so really my dreams come true. So, it's different. It's not what I expected or hoped for, but here I am.
Funny how life happens. It really is.
It really is. It really is, mate.
For example, like, obviously, I'll do what I do now. I'm doing a master's degree at the moment in commercial management, something completely different. But my original bachelor's was in media. So I did nothing with media and then kind of made Biohazard Declassified and
there you go.
Did what I was always going to do. I always knew I wanted to do something like this, but never quite knew how. And this goes back to the overarching point, like, and I explain to people when I talk about streaming is there were jobs that exist now that didn't exist 20 years ago. So imagine in 20 years what sort of jobs there's going to be. It's just going to be, there weren't no live streamers in the mid 90s. There were no, So who knows who knows what's in store?
I think it's going to continue to grow. I do expect more streamers to be on the platform, but as you said earlier, it's going to get a lot difficult for it could affect everyone really. I mean, obviously more so the new streamers coming through. Obviously, we've built already a rapport now, a community, but it's an enjoyable thing. Well, it's just going to become bigger and bigger, I think, and I think it's going to be an interesting year in terms of like Facebook gaming and YouTube, and I think there's going to be some changes coming as well with Twitch. So we'll just have to wait and see. But in terms of like, because obviously Twitch, like in terms of revenue, I don't know if it's the same on Facebook, but 50-50, do you get 50% of like your subscriptions without going too deep into it?
No, I can go to it. It's not an NDA thing or anything like that. So at the moment, as it stands, I think there's a percentage. I think it's 30% for, obviously we have quote unquote stars, which is perfect for Resident Evil. But our supporters, because of the pandemic, Facebook actually said they're not taking a cut of it for 2 or 3 years. So that was a generous thing of them to. I didn't have to do that. But this is what I mean. Like, everyone shits on Twitch, everyone shits on YouTube and Facebook for some of the stuff that it does, but it's afforded people the opportunity to work from home and do what they want to do at a schedule that suits them.
Yeah, I was trying to push the better rate when I went full time, just for a bit of security, I suppose.
Yeah, I think you have to.
A lot of people complain about the revenue side on Twitch because it is 50-50 split through the middle for tier ones, which is your most, your $5 sub. Obviously, if you get a tier 2 or tier 3, then you get a better ratio of that. But I know you can negotiate your contract, but you have to be banging in big views, big subscriptions. But hopefully one day we might be able to do that. But yeah, you are right. It's a free service to use, isn't it? So it makes sense, and it's not a critique really. But I know a lot of people like complain about it, and sometimes I do as well. I have a little moan.
No, we're the same, and it's very much like as quite rightly you said. They don't charge an entrant fee for you to watch the stream. Like Facebook, in all fairness to it, has got to make its money somehow. It's not just doing this out of the goodness of its heart. So I think, it puts me out there. I don't mind them take, employer would, or government tax would take an X amount. It's not really any different. You could justify that it's actually more meaningful here in Twitch and say than tax, but let's not. let's not
go there with that sort of stuff.
Indeed. So obviously we're talking about moving forward. What's the plan? What is ultimately your kind of short term goals and then your long term goals on Twitch?
I've got some goals set for 2022, which we can touch on. So at the moment, I think I've just hit 6,500 followers on Twitch, which is amazing. As each year, I'll set goals. So for 2021. We had a goal to hit 5,000 followers, which we did. And I think we have the average for 100 views per stream, which we hit as well. So we had a few goals. But for this year, we got an average of 200 people per stream by the end of this year. Obviously, quite a few days I get that already. But to have consistently, I've set it. And, it could be potentially higher. it could. But you know, I like to be real as well. And it's only recently since I've set it that it started happening. So before the new year, I was hitting less than 200 on a per stream. So it's like it started coming out of nowhere. And also sponsored opportunities. Now we've had a few. I've done my second one most recently, which turned out great. And we did really well. I don't know if you've heard of the game Raid Shadow Legends, but I was contacted by an agency. Well, anyway, I would never have played it. I'm thinking about it like, oh, really do I want to play this? But I had an opportunity. I was offered a base amount up front. And if we hit so many downloads, which I never thought we would, you know, it hits like another $900. It's crazy. That helps in January. That kind of like, I think we had like $1,200 off 2 hours stream and 2 days. That ties in with what I expected to have a rough month in January, because everyone does, self-employed people usually do in January. People are skint after Christmas.
100%.
So that turned in perfectly as well, especially with the kitchen renovation. So like these things it's just, yeah, it's everything that I hope for happens on Twitch that never happened in my life, like outside of Twitch, like things that you just need, and it just comes like, oh, thank you so much for that. I needed that. Also, we've talked more competitive speedruns. Previously, I used to do a lot of casual marathons, casual speedruns, but now on a couple of days a week, I'll get into the competitiveness now, get the splits up, get the times, and start submitting onto the leaderboards as well on speedrun.com. And obviously, I've got a bit more like horror variety in there as well. Play some other, you know, I don't want to play Resident Evil every day. I mean, as much as I love it, can't just do that. So we have been, usually on a Thursday, we do something else. And as like, for example, tomorrow we're doing classic Sega Mega Drive games. Like good old Sonics from cartridge as well. Yeah, we've got.
So wait, so yeah, so what's your setup then for that? Just on a tangent.
Yeah.
So you've got the second Sega Mega Drive, or is it the first one? What have you?
I've got both, but I'm using the first one, the big one, the 16-bit, you know, cartridge. I've got this cable you buy from a website, which is like makes it look better, basically like a quality cable. And then that gets plugged into something called an OSSC. It's basically
I'm familiar.
It's an upscaler, yeah. Then that plugs into your like Elgato and then runs through. Yeah, so I've been playing around with that over the last couple of days, and mate, it's beautiful. I've had the original Terminator on earlier, banging tunes out.
So emulating wasn't good enough for you. You had to go the whole hog.
It's part of what we was talking about earlier about sub goals in the channel. Last year, the sub goal was if we hit so many subs within, you know, whatever the goal was, then we'll do original hardware Sega Mega Drive stream. So that's what tomorrow is. So the Saturday is the marathon of Sonic games, Flashback, Another World, like these classics. Not saying I'm going to complete them all, but it's just going to be,
why not?
You know, it's just going to be a fun day. This means a lot to me as well, because before PS1 and Sega was the one really. Sonic the Hedgehog was my first games really growing up as a kid, so that brings a lot of nostalgia to me as well. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow a lot. It's going to be exciting because it's something different as well. It's something different to try and see how the stream reacts to it as well, and hopefully people like it.
Yeah, because as much as we love being known as Resident Evil people, you're quite right in what you say. It is nice to try it in a different way, like or try another game entirely, another franchise entirely.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, it's like what we spoke about before we came on today's. You know, when it comes to your viewership, you know, you're always going to lose a margin of, you know, if you're not doing your core content of what you're about, like your resi. You know, not everyone's going to tune in. You will lose a percentage. Majority will tune in because of who you are. They enjoy your personality and what you put out there and your banter, you know, whatever. But sadly, you can't just, it's not the same every time. You'll always lose a bit just because they don't like the game, which is fine. That's, you know, people want to watch what they want to watch as well. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be a laugh. I'm sure it is. It's going to be fun.
No, that's glorious. That's glorious. So we've spoken about where you were, where you are, where you're going. What overall, where do you really like mentally? Where do you want to be?
I want to go. I want to be in the stars, mate. Yeah. I'm not here to play. I'm not here just to settle now, and that won't happen for me. As I said earlier, you know, I said to, you know, if I ever get to 10 viewers, 10 people watching me, I'll be happy with that. That changed. It's got to a point now where I want to keep going. I want to see how far I can take this. I want to push it as hard as I can. And I want to, you know, I've set 200 average this year, but, you know, if we already at that now, then where could it be by the end of the year? You know, I feel like I'm unique. I feel like a fucking brilliant streamer. I feel like I'm quick. My engagement is top tier. I'm, I really, and I think you need to be like that as well. Sometimes you've got to be good about yourself. Think, you know what, I'm really good at what I do, and I think I am. I'm pretty good at the games. Talk a lot of shit, a lot of banter, a lot of interaction. Everyone's welcome. Everyone gets hello. How you doing today? And I don't see that from everyone. So as much as everyone, you are right what you said, like everyone's different in their unique way, and people will watch you for who you are. No, everybody likes me. They'll come and think, oh, I ain't keen on him. We'll go watch somebody else. That is life. That is, you know, you go and walk down the street, oh, I ain't keen on him. That's just, you know. So I'm just gonna keep fucking doing what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go for it. And, you know, I look at the streamers above me and I think, you know, we're all on our own journey. I appreciate that. You're all on different journeys here. People grow faster than others. But I feel like, you know what? I've got a uniqueness about me that is way different. And I think it's, yeah.
People
awesome.
engage with it. People 100% engage with it. So, you know, keep working at it. Why change?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm going to do for this year. And just, as Sam said, I'm the best gamer of all time. It's true. But no, that's the aim, mate, of all, you know, who knows? I'd love to get to, I think for me to know that I'm guaranteed full time for as long, you know, forever, kind of whatever, would be like the 1,000, but that's a long way off. I get that. But
do you have aspirations outside of Twitch? Like, obviously from a, you know, working and doing gaming content full time, but outside of Twitch?
Yeah, I mean, I want to go to more events. That's what I plan this year to do. Obviously, due to have the 12 months off. I've never been to TwitchCon before. Although that's a great time. There's one in Amsterdam, and San Diego. So, and I've never been to Amsterdam. I know it's bad. It's not been everywhere else apart from Amsterdam. So,
aside from the obvious, very liberal, very liberal place to be. It's really nice. It's very chill. I went out there a couple of years ago and it was fantastic. Aside from the obvious,
but like you've got the speedrun events as well. I mean, there's a smaller one, UKSG, which is a United Kingdom speedrun gathering, which is based in Glasgow. So I'd try and get to there this year. That'd be cool, just to go and hang out. And I've speedrun there a couple of times.
It's a bit ironic.
A bit ironic. There's also, I know. Obviously, I'd like to go to something like ESA, the European Speedrun Assembly in Sweden, or even a GDQ.
Yes.
You know, that'd be awesome. Just to kind
creme de la creme.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Even participating. Who knows? That could be on my list.
What is for people that are obviously a lot of people will be familiar with games done quick, but how do you get into like
the
show?
So basically, there's a website. You go on there, you register, and then you can submit up to 5 speedrun games or categories. So what you need to do, if you're not a streamer, you need to record. You need recording equipment. Ideally, I think they say you have to have a camera as well. And obviously, you know, you record, you commentate on your run, explain what the game is while speedrunning it. Whatever speedrun game it is, you need to explain what's going on, really. And then you submit that, and who knows, you might get in, you might not. It's hard for Resident Evil games because of how popular it is. They look for a lot more uniqueness now. You might on occasion see one Resident Evil game get in, but it's getting harder and harder. And usually, you know, you could go to anyone. In the past, you saw the Borg Pursuits on there, and obviously some of the bigger streamers.
Carl Sinigin, there a couple of times.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's kind of it, really. Just check out Games Done Quick website. It's pretty self-explanatory other than that. I mean, it's easy for me to submit them because if I stream it, I can stream it and then submit it from the stream broadcast and just put the URL in. But yeah, my advice for anybody that's interested in submitting is look for a game that is pretty unique or you wouldn't expect to see. because that's what they like to see. Something like retro-ish, something old school. Anything popular like Resident Evil is going to be really hard to get in. But yeah, really, that's all I can say about it.
So your world records that you've held, do you know them off the top of your head, or should we go on your?
I wouldn't go on there. My world records are not too. I've got no world records really. They've been taken.
What were they?
I don't know, like some random ones, mate. Like something that wasn't like I got like the GameCube Chris Redfield world record, but I think it was like emulated version. They're not. How can I put it? They're not competitive in terms of like the amount of people that run those categories. I used to have some of the New Game Plus ones on Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Oh yeah, I see that.
So I'm probably like fourth or fifth now, but it's like probably 100 people there.
Well, New Game Plus console, Claire assisted. You are second.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's not bad, but it depends because I've got some for PC and I've got some for console. Now the thing is, I'm a controller player. Everyone on PC mainly runs keyboard and mouse because it's just more competitive and quicker. So when I'm playing on controller, I'm already at a disadvantage.
Yes.
Because of that. So my times, you probably always lose out, really. But it's still fun to play on PC, like with the use of a controller. It's quicker. It's nice.
So the ultimate question, what's your favourite Resident Evil game?
Resident Evil 2 Original.
Oh, beautiful.
It'll have to be. It's just...
Yeah. I don't think nothing comes close. I can't explain it.
I think there's some games that are there. I've got a couple of top three, top four, but growing up, like after Resi 1, I loved it, but then Resi 2 just blew it out of the water. Just phenomenal. I love Leon. I think Leon's probably my favourite RE character anyway, but just the playability of it, which took it as well. Just not only the story, I had everything in the story from horror to survival to the emotional scene with Leon and Ada. That bridge with the sound and just it had everything. I know it's a bit of a meme. I mean, I hear it all the time. But I'm just thinking back when I was younger and experiencing that was just like, wow, what a game! Just everything from the soundtracks to the game to the story plot. But not only that, you got Leon, you got Claire, you got the hunks, you got the mod, you got all the bonus shit as well you could get from it.
I remember completing it for the first time and then being like, "There's a B scenario. Yeah. What is that?" And that's different from New Game. What is that?
And then you got the B scenario. Yeah, A, Bs for both. There's 4 categories there already. And then you've got the hunk and tofu. You just value for money. Like, you struggle to get that nowadays, I find, from games without having to buy fucking DLC. But, like, yeah, man, that will always... I don't think it'll ever change. I don't think I could change it. It would be disrespectful for the game. So, Resi 2 Resi 2 Original, sorry.
Yes.
Then I'd probably say Resident Evil 1 Remake would be second because I just think it's
changed the game. Really did.
And I wish RE2 Remake, as much as I like RE2 Remake, I still wish it had the same style of play. Like, as in, can you imagine how good that would be? Oh, but yeah, I'd say Code Veronica could be in the top 5 as well.
Yeah. I love Code Veronica, and I had this conversation with Nuji and I want to stream it, but being part-time and, I can probably only do sort of 3-4 hours of streaming max before I'm, knackered out after a full day's work. It's just, I know now they've got solutions for like no door scenes, but the big thing is just how much time the door scenes take up in Code Veronica. It can be...
if you know kind of roughly what you're doing, like I can complete that game as a speed run with door skips, say 1 hour 35. Which ain't bad. Like if you do a 3-hour stream, I have no doubt you could do that. Like within 3 hours, like as long as there's a lot of back and forward, isn't it, in Code Veronica?
Yes,
a lot of running. But with the door skips, it's definitely you probably get it done in the stream, mate. If that's something he was considering.
So how do you normally play that? Do you play the GameCube version? Do you play the PS3 version emulated, or for the door skip specifically?
I've got both. I've got a PS3 that is modded to allow me to do the door skips for the application, which is great because it looks phenomenal. Because I went onto the Japanese PlayStation store to buy the Japanese version of Code Veronica, which just looks stunning. As you know, like with Code Veronica, folks, for anybody that's listening, well, I'm sure there is people listening. The PS4 version is terrible. Don't download it.
Yeah, it's the PS2 version, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not only the PS2 version, it's an emulated version of the PS2. That's why it runs like crap. Do not play it. It's terrible.
Well, I think in the UK as well, it's the old PAL version, so it runs at 50 FPS. It's just shit.
But it's emulated as well, so it's not like you're just having the PS2 game of it. It's horrid. So anybody listening, get the HD version on PlayStation 3. It's the best version. But also, yeah, I do play it on emulator as well, because sometimes when I do the massive marathons, it's easy for me to transition onto an emulator through OBS than rather than hooking up a PlayStation 3 to then do it. And to be honest, I like running it on keyboard anyway. I've run a lot of the OGs on keyboard. So remakes, it's strange. This is what happens. So listen here. Look, honestly, Resident Evil 1 Remake, I'm very good speed run on that. The first remake. The PC version.
Yes.
I play that on an Xbox 360 One pad or whatever it is. Resident Evil 2 Remake and 3 Remake, I play on a PlayStation 4 controller. And everything else is keyboard.
Right. That is odd.
So it's just, for me, when I'm speedrunning, it's the lines are just so much easier to get. It's all like intricate lines. And it's just, I feel like I'm not good enough on controllers to pull them off.
Oh, so you mean you don't want to like overturn or something like that?
Yeah, it's all about precision for me on keyboard and the menuing as well. I'm bang, like I'm really quick on it. But some people lose out on controller, so it's all just speed on tactics really. But yeah, going back to the top 5, I'd say Code Veronica, RE1 Remake, RE2 Remake would probably be in there as well. Obviously, RE2 Original. I'll probably put it's hard, man. It's hard because it changes all the time. But I thought, as much as I think RE3 Original is a good speedrun game, I don't think it's a great game story-wise. I never felt it was that good growing up. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I think sometimes I think it was overrated in a way. I know I'm probably going to get criticised, but
I always felt like it was DLC to Resident Evil 2, really. Like it felt like just kind of a side story that was kind of tacked onto RE2.
But it's based on the Code Veronica thing, wasn't it? The issue with Code Veronica was meant to be free based on this Sony issue saying they wanted free or whatever. But yeah, I'd say I'd definitely put Code Veronica in top 5. I think it's a wonderful game and you get a lot of content out of it as well. I'm not sure where else. What would your top 5 be?
Probably Resident Evil 2, the original. Then I'll probably go with Resident Evil Director's Cut for number 2, specifically the arranged game, because I think the arranged game's fucking. I really want someone like Aiden to port the arranged game to PC. So
yeah, I've said this before because I get hassled by like Emily, who's probably in the chat, when you're playing arranged map, but it's just getting the console. Yeah. Absolutely. Like, it'd be great if you get a port onto it. Like, so many people would probably play it then as well. Because people want the pace, don't they? They want to be able to just complete the game in 40 minutes, 50 minutes or whatever. But
yeah. And it's the best. I think it's the best way of playing the original. So after that, so Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 1, and then I probably Resident Evil 4, I always love going back and playing. And that's not a traditional quote unquote Resident Evil. It was the one that kind of became the catalyst for shit Resident Evil games afterwards. But they did end up bringing it back with RE7 and 8.
Mate, RE4 is better than 4. What are you talking about?
Well, I always say that Resident Evil 5 is it's almost like they saw Resident Evil 4 and was like, yeah, we want that formula, but we want it co-op, but we don't really want to do anything that's that different. Because some of the bosses are the same. Like, it's actually stupidly like RE4. And even the PS3 version had move support. And you could play it like RE4 fucking Wii edition. It's crazy.
It's funny. I played a lot of RE4 when obviously it came out. It was, massive at the time, wasn't it? But the more I play it now, I ain't that keen on it. Honestly, I was just like, I'm playing RE4 today, guys. I think
what brought it back for me, actually, was the VR port. The VR port has been...
that looks good.
Unreal. I just can't explain it. Like, it's completely rebuilt. Like, everyone goes, oh, it's just an easy cash grab or whatever. No, it wasn't. And on top of that, like, it's literally built from the ground up. Like, nothing... I don't think there's any quote-unquote original asset. It's not even running on the same engine.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy good. It just makes you think differently.
I have to get the Oculus. That's something that I want. But
Yeah, you got to
the
buy
only,
into Zuckerberg at some point, mate.
yeah, I'll have to get Kai to send me one out. You know, he gets them for free, don't he?
As
But
we know.
but yeah, I remember playing RE7 on VR for one of the first times I actually played it, the game, and the Mia crawling up the stairs scene, just like I was like, oh, I can't deal with this. It's just terrifying. Yeah. Anyway,
I hope they bring, because they brought it out. It was, again, I don't like to talk about it too much because it's all about Capcom hacks and all that. But Capcom allegedly paid Sony £5 million for the exclusivity agreement for RE7, and it's a shame because it was horrifically implemented on PS4. Like the frame rate was very bad, so like it made you fit it. It gave you this motion sickness that the Oculus VR doesn't suffer with.
Ah, okay, that's interesting. You see, because I didn't have that issue until because you had like a safety mechanism. I can't remember; it's been years ago. But like when you used to turn, it only turned like a quarter each time. But I thought I ain't doing that. I went into my options and turned it off. Mate, I felt sick. I turned it off. Mate, I can't deal with this. I said to him, I can't deal with this. I took it off. But I think in hindsight, I probably would have played it longer if I kept it to where it was defaulted.
Yeah. I think standing up as well. But again, like, this is the big difference with how Oculus do it, is that you've got motion controls as well. Like, I just felt like, why would they go all of that? They went through all of that effort, knowing what the peripherals of what PSVR had, and then just didn't give it any motion control support. So, like, you had it on your head, but you was also still using a controller. What's the fucking point in that?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I didn't like to be like just inside of it. Really, it was uncomfortable anyway. It was like this big fucking cable leading there. Get out of the way. But no, I didn't enjoy it. I sold it. I actually sold the VR. I think I was after one for ages as well. I thought, oh, I'm going to sell it. I'm not using it.
My one's is sitting right here. Just that's the only game I got for it. I played it half an hour on stream once and
send it to me. I'll sell it. You know, pay for the kitchen, son.
But yeah, I think Oculus have got it right because it's actually a self-contained platform. It's not like you don't have to have a computer, you don't have to have like a phone or something like that. Like, it's all a self-contained Android platform. So
yeah, and is it battery as well at time? You can use it so you don't have cables knocking around.
Yeah. I would say, look, I've been streaming with it and I had it was almost like a fucking umbilical cord like connected to me. It was really frustrating, but I've got like you can buy like an extendable battery that kind of sits on it.
Okay.
So we're rocking that at the moment, and you get like 8 hours or something.
Yeah, so, if I see one on, because they're not too expensive. I think they're like 200 quid, aren't they, or something like that. But
yeah, 250, something like that.
I'll get somebody to buy one then. I'm looking at them now.
Stream of life.
Hey, it's on my wish list.
No, that's glorious. So yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming on today. I've been wanting to do this for a little while. It's just, as ever, it's finding the time, and I'm so happy we finally nailed you down for a date, because I want to be here at the start, because I know that you have good intentions and you produce really good content, and I know we're here, and that rocket is going to propel itself, and I want to be here for the start to claim all the credit. So
absolutely. And just before we finish, just touch on the RE marathon is coming back in April. So yeah, the first weekend in April. And we haven't decided on the charity as of yet, but we are going to be working with yourselves, Biohazard Declassified, which is for the third time now. Hang on.
Yeah.
So that's going to be
second. Yeah.
Hang on. No, we did the first one on my channel, didn't we? Then the third or fourth, anyway. Yeah, we figure that out later. But we're looking to go bigger and better, I'm sure. Get more voice actors involved. We've got the submissions open as of yet, and there's a lot of unique ones that we've not had before, which is going to be great. So we'll put more information out when it comes. But yeah, rest assured that's going to be a good time, and can't wait, mate. What's your thoughts on the last one? You enjoyed it, didn't you? I know. You commentated on one of the ones, didn't you?
Yeah, so we jumped on for the last bit of Nick Apostolidis, and that was a lot of fun, and I think that's always nice to see, kind of voice actors, prominent people in the community come back. So we're going to try our best this time to get, and I'm not criticizing the people we were on before, but bigger guests,
Mm.
more people involved, because it'll be for a good cause, and if we do it once a year, it's very special.
Oh,
So
absolutely. We raised $10,000, didn't we? That's a lot of money purely on Resident Evil content, I think, for a charity gig, especially when you look around what others were doing around that time. But no, Matt, I'm really excited for that, and it's gonna be a great time, and I'm looking forward to working with you on that as well, you and Jesse and everyone else.
yeah, no, we absolutely can't wait, and we'll do what we can to support you guys and the great cause that it inevitably go to.
Fantastic.
Indeed. Well, thank you, Matt. I really, I'm so glad that you went full time, and I'm so glad that you're kind of forging your own path in content creations, and really all the best here.
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you, chat, for listening. I hope you hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you again in the future.
Indeed. This has been Andy from Biohazard Declassified. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate your time. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.